Hey everyone, this is Alicia Katz-Pollock at Royalwise.com, and today I wanted to give you a little bit of a deeper dive into using QuickBooks Online in kind of a creative way. I live in Portland, Oregon, and we don't have sales tax, so I don't have to jump through most of the hoops that most of you have to jump through with, like, how much tax gets applied to this product and this customer, and when do I submit it to the government. I don't have to do most of that, but they do make one thing really challenging in the city of Portland, and that is that we owe separate taxes for any income derived in the city limits for city of Portland and a separate tax for Multnomah County. Now, Portland is in Multnomah County, but they've got Portland's taxes, and then the other part of Multnomah County that's not part of Portland has its own separate taxes. And then we don't owe sales tax at all for anywhere else. So what I had to do inside my QuickBooks was figure out, well, which of my clients are in city of Portland and which ones are in Multnomah County but not in Portland, and what else did I need to track around that. And so I found an interesting way of leveraging QuickBooks Online sales tax module so that it gave me that reporting in such a way that it doesn't actually touch my books, but it allows me to see where my customers are. Now, before I get started with that, I want to make one point of clarification, and that is who is a taxable customer and who is not when you're in services. We are supposed to pay our taxes by the location where the job is done. So if you're just in your own retail store, this is not relevant and you can just go on to the next video. You don't have to watch this at all. But if you provide on-site services and you drive to your clients' offices or homes and you provide their services there, that's who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to you. So in my case, for Royalwise, we do videos like this, but we also drive around to our clients. And most of what we do is screen share, so it's happening just inside our place of business, and so therefore it is taxable. But we do drive around a lot. We have clients in Vancouver, Washington. We have clients in Multnomah County, not Portland. We have clients in other parts of Oregon. And sometimes even when we travel, we see clients in different cities. And so I thought, well, in addition to knowing who's city of Portland, who's Multnomah County, not Portland, and everybody else, I actually wanted to do a little bit more detail. So let me show you what I came up with. I'm going to share my screen with you. So where you want to go is to the taxes center on the left and then to your sales tax center. Now, before I even start explaining what I'm doing here, there's something else I got to talk about. QuickBooks has two separate sales tax modules. The one that you're looking at on my screen is the old style. And then there's a new style that's more automated. And if you have the new style, you can't do what I'm showing you, although you can call up support and ask to go back to this style of it. But if you do that, you can never go on to the automated sales tax. So you do need the old manual sales tax center. Now, the first thing that I need to do is get this set up. And what I decided to do in my system is, like I said, I have to know who's city of Portland, who's inside the city limits, meaning I help them on a Zoom or they're buying my published materials. So all of that happens on site, but it's when I go out of my office to provide services on their sites that it comes into play. So the two that you have to have, or the three that you have to have, is city of Portland, and you also have to have one for Multnomah County. And the cities that are in Multnomah County that are not city of Portland are Gresham, Troutdale, and Fairview. So if you're doing any work in Gresham, Troutdale, or Fairview, that's who goes in this Multnomah County designation. And maybe you want to actually call it Gresham, Troutdale, Fairview so that you can distinguish it. And then you will need a third one for everybody else who's not Multnomah County and city of Portland. What I decided to do is I also made some other categories because I'm interested to know where my services are being provided. So I have some international, because I travel out of the country sometimes. I have some out of state for anything that happens around the country. I do have a Vancouver, Washington, or we just kind of use this for Washington in general, state of Washington, so that we know when we cross the river if maybe we owe TaxNexus there someday. PayPal tax agency came out of my PayPal integration. I don't really have any control over it. And then I have an Oregon other. So if I'm in Oregon, but I'm not in City of Portland, Fairview, Troutdale, or Gresham, then I have an Oregon other. And we separate out all of our clients by their addresses in our system so that we can track all of these things. So let me show you how to get all this set up. The first thing that you need to do are make these tax categories. And I do that by going to Add, Edit Tax Rates and Agencies. So I'll click on that. And here you can see that I've got them all set up. But let's say I was making a new one. I would click on New, and I would name what that tax is. You know, maybe I call it PDX. Just I'm pretending that I don't already have it in here. So that's my Portland. And then the agency would be City of Portland. And then my tax rate is 0 because I'm not collecting sales taxes. It doesn't matter that there is a tax rate associated with paying the City of Portland. We don't want to charge our clients for that tax. So that's why this stays on 0. It's just a tracking method. So you would go through and make at least these 3: City of Portland, Multnomah County, or you can call it Mulco, Fairview, Gresham, Troutdale, whatever you want, and then everybody else. Or you could do what I did and also track other locations like outside of Oregon, other states, Washington State, whatever you want to track there. In any case, once you get your breakdown for what's useful for you, then the next 2 things you need to do are make sure that your products or services are marked as taxable and that your clients are assigned to these tax categories. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to start by going to my customers section, and I'm just going to pick a random customer. So I'll open up Aaron, and where I go is into the edit section right here. And then there's a tab for tax info. So I'll click on tax info, and I want them to be marked as taxable, and then I pick which of these codes it's going to be. And so he's in Oregon, but he's not in Multnomah County, so he gets a Oregon other. Then anytime I do an invoice for him for any of my services, it gets categorized into Oregon other, and then I don't pay City of Portland taxes because he lives all the way out in Reedsport, Oregon. So it makes sense. So I'll go ahead and save that. So you would go through all of your customers, or when you're putting a new customer in the system, that's when you should go into the tax section and give them their designation. I have City of Portland as my default so that everybody's City of Portland unless I change them. The other thing that you need to do is edit your products and services. So when I click on products and services, you want all of your products and services to be marked as taxable, no matter what they are. To show you what it looks like when something's marked as taxable, let's say I'm doing equipment for resale. I would click on edit, and then down here there's a sales tax category, and it says taxable standard rate. There's also non-taxable. If it's not eligible for sales tax, you can mark it as non-taxable, but I want this on taxable. So you do need to go through all your products and services and make sure they're marked taxable. There is no automatic way of doing it. There's no way to do these as a batch. You have to click and edit on every single one. That being said, if you have thousands of products, 2 other things you could do is you could export them to Excel and make them taxable in Excel and then re-import them. And as long as you don't change their names, you're fine. Or you could use a third-party app like CData that turns your data into a live spreadsheet, and you can just update it there, and it automatically updates it inside QuickBooks Online. A little bit more complex, but a cool tool if you're data savvy. So again, second step is mark everything taxable. So that's your third step, is making all your products taxable. So now what happens is when I go to the new button and I make a sales receipt, and I choose who the customer is, it's going to know if that customer was taxable and where. So I can see here it defaulted to Oregon other, but I could change it if I needed to. I would put in the service date, what the service was, make sure that it has been marked as taxable. So I'll put that in for bookkeeping, marked taxable, put in your classes, anything else that you need to do. And then save and close, and then that will add it to the tax center. Now, let's take a look at what it looks like when you're working in the tax center. So again, I'm going down to taxes and then sales tax. What you're seeing here is my taxes. Right now it's being shown by the month, although I could just do this by year because it's an annual dollar amount. You can switch between current year and previous year. If your fiscal year isn't January, you could start it in July or whatever yours is. And then very, very important is whether you're cash versus accrual based and how you are reporting cash versus accrual based. So in this case, I want cash because I only want to report on the money that I've made in my service. What this now shows is the gross sales for all of the company for things that were marked as taxable. And then the taxable sales is now broken up by which tax county it was on the sales receipt or on the invoice. So if I click on Multnomah County, I can see all of that $10,000 of my sales came from Multnomah County. If I wanted to see it by year, if I wanted to see it by month, I could change that by month. And then that shows me month by month by month how much of my gross sales were made up of customers in that particular region. Where was I when I did the work? And so you can see that Multnomah County is a fraction of the work that City of Portland is. And I still also do a lot of work out of state as well. So that's why I broke this up into more detail, is because I wanted to see really where the whole big picture, where all of my revenue was coming from. But again, if you're doing Oregon taxes, there's 3 that you need: City of Portland, Multnomah County, Fairview, Gresham, Troutdale, and everywhere else. And so if you take the time to set up those 3 counties and all of your products and assign your customers to those, then you have this really great way of seeing all of this information in one place. And then when you get your tax bill, you can tell them exactly what it was for and pay the right amount of taxes. Now you can see my little Portland, Oregon hack for how to manage my local tax, my county taxes, and the rest of the taxes. Even though we don't have sales tax, I can use the sales tax tool to gather that information. So hopefully that was useful to some of you. Again, this is Alicia Katz-Pollock at learn.royalwise.com, and I'll see you in class.